Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. How's it going? It's been a couple weeks since I have uploaded, but I wanted to throw up a quick Q&A video tonight for some of my most frequently asked questions so that I can get back to you and answer them, because I can't always catch up on comments and DMs on Instagram. So I'm going to do my best to answer the most frequently asked questions that I get here tonight. But first of all, for those of you that might be new to my channel, my name is Ashley and I resell on eBay and Amazon part-time while I stay home with my kids, do the normal mom things, make dinner, help keep the house kind of clean. So yeah, it's kind of the perfect part-time gig for me while I navigate motherhood. And I love sharing my journey with all of you and hopefully inspire some of you who want to make extra money, show you a way that you can really do it. You can make it happen. So, okay, first question that I get a lot is, why don't I sell on Poshmark? And I don't really have a very good answer for that. I should, and honestly now that I have a little bit more time, I might consider cross-posting. The problem with Poshmark is, for me, like, there are 182 million users on eBay and there's only 4-ish million on Poshmark. So I try to go, if I have limited time, I go to where the larger audience is. And when I did list on Poshmark and try to share my closet, I did still see the bulk of my sales on eBay. So because I have such limited time, I decided to focus on eBay and list my stuff there because I just didn't have the time to cross post. I mean, yeah, I could hire someone to maybe cross post for me and share my closet, but I do try to keep my expenses as low as possible. So that's just not something I've been super interested in. I do love Poshmark for the fact that returns are much harder. You do tend to get a slightly higher average sale price on there. You can command a higher return for your items, which is great. They have also made the shipping process super easy. So I think Poshmark is extremely user-friendly, and I actually recommend people who are very brand new to reselling to start on Poshmark. It's a very user-friendly platform. But for me, I just try to go where the biggest audience is, and that it's Amazon and eBay. So I stick to those platforms mostly. Doesn't mean that I won't explore Poshmark in the future. To be honest, I did not love the sharing aspect of Poshmark and sharing my closet. As a mom, I do try to stay off my phone as much as possible while I'm around my kids because I want to be present and engaged with them, and it's hard when I'm pulling out my phone to share my closet. So I'm sure there's ways to do that more discreetly. I just didn't find a way to do it as actively as I wanted to. I didn't love the idea of sharing my closet. I don't have to do that with eBay. So yeah, for those reasons, I kind of just put Poshmark on the back burner and I tried to focus on eBay. But again, it doesn't mean that I won't start cross-posting and engaging with Poshmark a little bit more in the future. I have more time this year, so maybe this will be my year to fully get into Poshmark. Some people have asked, do you need an eBay store? I do recommend having an eBay store if you're gonna list maybe, 50 items plus and have an active store. It helps to have sales. You get a few more features with a store. You get the shipping supply coupon every 3 months, so that's kind of nice too. Helps you organize categories within your eBay store as well. Of course, I kept mine without a store for quite a long time, and it was just fine. But when I decided to level up with eBay, I did get a basic store, and now I'm at a premium store because I don't have the hugest eBay store in the world. I have a pretty simple one. So yeah, I would say if you are committed to making at least a few $100s to $1,000 a month on eBay, it's wise to invest in a store. It's only 20 bucks a month, so totally worth it. Another question that I get a lot is, why have I started doing more eBay? Why don't you see a lot of Amazon content? And that's kind of hard. Like, okay, I'm trying to think of a way to answer that the best way possible. I love Amazon and I sell a lot on Amazon. Amazon is where I started reselling, so I have actually more experience with Amazon than I do with eBay. What I love about eBay is I can sell anything pretty much. And on Amazon, you're a little more limited with what you can sell. What ends up happening is I just end up finding more stuff that I can sell on eBay than I can sell on Amazon because of where I'm sourcing. I'm not going to a lot of department stores and new with tag stores, retail stores to buy my Amazon stuff anymore. I used to do that more, but ever since I kind of changed my business model to keep my expenses as low as possible, I've just kind of been avoiding that. Doesn't mean you can't make a ton of money doing that, and I actually plan on going to a lot of retail stores this Q4 to sell on Amazon because Q4 is just absolute fire when it comes to Amazon. But I'm going to garage sales, yard sales, thrift stores, and I just find a lot of stuff for eBay that I just couldn't sell on Amazon otherwise. And in addition to that, because I have such a limited time, even this year, my son is in half-day kindergarten, my youngest, So I have a couple hours every day. I can't go to like retail stores and like hop to 20 different retail stores to source. I have to go to 1 or 2 places and then I have to head home. And the bottom line is I just find more stuff for the price point that I want at thrift stores than I do at retail stores. I could go to 5 different Marshalls or Rosses and only find a handful of things, where that's kind of a risk with my time, whereas I can go to the bins, the Goodwill Outlet, or thrift stores or garage sales and know every single time I'm gonna pick up at least $1,000 worth of stuff to sell, all while keeping my costs super low. So it's really worth it for me to do that at this point in my life. It doesn't mean that I won't in the future, but it's just hard to get to do the grind of going to every single Walmart, every single Target, every single Marshalls, every single Ross stores, just hitting boom, 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 looking for 1 or 2 things. I don't have all data source like that. So I have to be a little bit more strategic. Another question that I get is, how much time do I spend on my business? I spend anywhere from 15 to 18 hours a week, maybe up to 20 hours a week on my business. But probably lately it's been more to the 12 to 15 hour range, just because my son is in kindergarten 5 days a week, but it's only 2 hours and 40 minutes each time. So it's pretty brief. But yeah, I mostly source Saturday mornings at garage sales. That's pretty much where I find all of my stuff. And especially all summer, I have barely stepped foot in a thrift store, maybe a few times. Most of my sourcing has been garage sales and maybe some thrift stores. It's been extremely lucrative. I have sold close to $20,000 this summer, so I'm extremely excited about that. But yeah, like that's all I did. I'd source on Saturday mornings, bring it home, maybe photograph a few, put things away, and then photograph during the week and list, and then also anything I found for Amazon, send some shipments in, and then I'm done. So you can really make a great income part-time if you are spending very little money, which takes me into my next question, which is, when can you start taking a paycheck? And this is a common question because you see a lot of sellers on Instagram who are just showing gross sales, which I have done in the past too. I mean, I think it's super inspirational and I love seeing everyone's gross sales, but you don't know net profit out of that. So something that you guys should keep in mind is, when you're keeping your costs as low as you can, which is what I'm trying to do, you can take a paycheck way sooner because you're only spending maybe $400, $500, $600 a month, maybe up to $1,000 in your spending to get inventory a month. And if you're selling, I mean, $4,000 to $5,000 a month or beyond, and then you take out fees, you can definitely take home some money and start paying yourself really soon. So I saw my money grow the fastest when I just kept my costs as low as possible. And sometimes when you're doing retail arbitrage with Amazon, it just takes longer to take a paycheck just because you're trying to build up your inventory and it can take a while. So for me personally, I didn't take a paycheck for a long time just because I had the flexibility. I could. My husband's job provides for us, so I didn't have the pressure to provide. So I could let it grow for a long time, kind of get my feet wet with all of the reselling process. I dabbled in pretty much everything. I did some wholesale, online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, eBay, bins, wholesale eBay. I've done like pretty much everything you can do, even some private label. So I've been able to like invest money in all of those endeavors without a ton of risk because I've built up that money over the last few years. But I kind of had the luxury of doing that. But I would say, like, if you are committed to the business model kind of I do, with very low costs, and you try to keep your profits high, you can start taking a paycheck right away. I don't see why not. It may be wise though to start building up your inventory to at least 500 listings before you start really taking a consistent paycheck, because 500 listings will churn out decent sales for you, enough to take some money home. But definitely don't be tempted to take everything home. You need to save a little bit for taxes, at least 25%, and enough to continue sourcing your inventory. And then whatever's left over, you know, maybe take a small percentage out, but it is wise to keep quite a bit in there in your business just to continue to reinvest in inventory. Another question that I get is, what did I do before I did all of this? It's funny, I am not big in social media. I wasn't at all before I started reselling. In fact, I was so afraid of being tagged in pictures on Facebook that I would ask all my friends to please not tag me and even crop my face out of any pictures because I was so scared. I hated pictures. I hated any kind of social media. I posted sometimes, but not very often. And then my personal social media is just my kids, and that's really, it's just for memories. So it's kind of ironic that I am here now on social media at all. It's extremely, all my friends who've known me for a long time think it's just the craziest and funniest thing because I was so anti putting my face in front of a camera. But before all of this, I got my undergraduate degree in psychology, and then I went on to get my master's in educational psychology and worked at a school. So I did that for a little bit before I had my oldest son, and then I quit and stayed home with him. And that's when I just tried to find things I could do from home because I've just always had the kind of mind that likes to be engaged in adult things as well as kid things. So I really needed that for my sanity. And then I did some freelance writing and stumbled upon Amazon FBA a few years later. So it's been a huge blessing in my life. But I haven't ruled out continuing my education. That's something that I talk with my husband about all the time. And I absolutely love psychology. I have a passion for it. So maybe we'll have videos in the future that feature, I don't know, more psychology-based things. I think it'd be so fun, but I'd probably lose my audience, so maybe not. Another question that I get is, where do I source all of my inventory? For the summer months, all my inventory comes from garage sales and yard sales, community sales, flea markets, and that kind of thing. So that's where all of my inventory comes from May through September, really, until yard sales die down around here. Other than that, I do go to thrift stores or the Goodwill outlet. Thrift stores on their sale days mostly. I prefer their sale days so I can, again, keep my costs as low as possible. So that's pretty much what I do. And garage sales and yard sales offer me plenty of items for both Amazon and eBay. So again, that's just where I source, and I have had a lot of success with it, as well as keeping my costs just so low. It's just really fun to watch money come in and know you only spend a couple dollars, $3 per item that's selling. So highly recommend that business model if you're a little nervous. I also get asked how many active listings do I have on eBay. Currently I have around 800. I try to keep it around there. It's like a happy place for me. I would love to get it up to 1,000. My bin system can hold up to 1,000, but I've been slacking a little bit this summer. I have a lot of great stuff to list, but I haven't had like the time. It's been hard with my kids home most of the time. So I am excited to kind of ramp up and get up to 1,000 listings, but I think with 1,000 listings, if you're sourcing really inexpensive inventory, you are going to start to see quite a bit of sales. So that's where I'd like to keep my store. 800 to 1,000 listings is ideal. Another question that I get is, does social media help with sales? And I would say absolutely, it does. eBay is all about getting as many eyes on your items as you can, and whether that's with a little boost with promoted listings, getting your pictures to be interesting, having your keywords on point, the more eyes that look at your items, the more chance you have that a sale will occur. So obviously with social media, the more eyes you can get on your social media accounts, and if you share things that you sell or you share your store, you're gonna get more eyes on your items and you might get some extra sales. So I definitely have seen a small sales increase since I have been sharing more with my YouTube and social media audiences. There are, of course, risks to sharing your store and everything. You could get people who just really don't like you, trolls who might buy from you and then leave you bad feedback, which has happened, sadly. But on the flip side, you get a ton of really nice people who just want to support you and who just want the best for your store, which is so kind. So yes, social media really helps, and I would actually encourage anyone out there who is trying to grow their eBay store to start social media. Share what you're selling, show your face, share your journey. It really helps get traffic to your store, which is what we all want. And then it just opens up opportunities later for you. So I would definitely encourage that if it's kind of up your alley. If it's not, I totally get it. It's kind of a double-edged sword because when you share on social media, you also like become engaged with that and have less time for your business. There's plenty of people who do multiple millions of dollars in sales and they're not even anywhere near social media. So again, like, but if you're a small seller like me and you just want to share your journey, I do not think it hurts at all. I've made sales through Instagram, I've made sales through YouTube, and I'm extremely grateful for that. So yeah, if it's something that you want to do, why not share your journey? And last but not least, I get questions all the time. This is probably my most frequently asked question. I'm scared to start. How do I start? What do? I don't know how to start this eBay selling, Amazon, Poshmark, whatever. And that's kind of hard to answer because the only way to learn is to start. And if you guys, I recommended this book in the past, but The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins is so good. It's a game changer, especially for those of you who have a hard time jumping into new things. She says specifically in that book, which is so great, she says, if you wait until you feel like it to do something, you'll never do it. Like, you have to do it now while you're uncomfortable, while you don't understand, and start now. Because if you keep delaying it for when you feel like it or when you're ready to tackle it, you never will. So my advice is to do it scared. Start scared. Grab one thing that you can take a photograph of and go through the listing process on eBay. It's very straightforward. List your first item, get it up there, and then do the second one and the third one and slowly start. The way I started eBay, I just went to a thrift store clothing section and looked through every tag and looked up every single tag because I had no idea what brands were good and which were bad. I looked up Universal Thread, had no idea it was a Target brand and not really worth reselling. I looked up Tory Burch, which I had no idea was really high-end and definitely worth reselling. So I looked up everything, and then slowly over time my brain started to mash together what brands were good and which were not, and now I rarely pull out my phone to look things up. I know a lot from memory. So all that to say, just jump in, get started. It's not as scary as you think it is, especially with Amazon. Amazon is not scary at all. It is so easy. Go to a store, scan a barcode. Is it worth sending in? You can send it into FBA, or if you don't want to send it in, sell it as merchant fulfilled. That's fine too. And it's very easy. And if you want extra help with that, go to my Instagram page, scroll back, and you can find posts where I talk about exactly how to sell and list FBA and how to sell and list FBM, fulfilled by merchant. So definitely go back and look at that. It just begins when you start, and the sooner you start, the sooner you'll start to grasp it and make some really good money. So yeah, I guess that's it for me, you guys. I answered the most frequently asked questions. If you have more, leave them in the comments below and I'll do another video like this. Again, thank you so much for watching. I am just so grateful for all of you for tuning into my small channel. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel, you guys. I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate your comments, your feedback. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you like videos like this, you want more content. It just encourages me so much to make more videos for you. And subscribe to my channel if you want the latest information, videos, uploads, all about my reselling journey from me to you. Straight talk, I keep it as real as possible. So thanks again, guys, and as always, take care. I will catch you next time.